Hi, I'm Mark, and today I'm going to bring you a quick review of the MPow Swift Bluetooth Headphones. They're earbuds, they sit properly into your ears, so let's open the box, see what you get, and I'll bring you a quick review having used them for a little bit of time as well. So here we have the box for the MPow Swift Bluetooth Headphones. You can see it's a nice simple design, just got the logo on. If we pop it on its end like that, we can just lift the top off like so. And then inside you've got two boxes. Got one box there, and the instruction manual as well, just there with all the instructions on how to pair it and so on and so forth. If we open these up, I've just got a divider there. In one box we've got these and some spare buds, and then in the other box we've got the headphones themselves. They come in a variety of colours. I went for the black and the blue. If you just have a closer look, you can see you've got these to kind of help lodge them into your ears and make sure they don't go anywhere, and you've got the earbuds themselves. By default it comes with the medium ones on, but you've got larger and smaller of both the earbuds and the kind of ear wedges, just depending on the size of your ears really. So to start with, this is the right hand earphone. On one side of it you've got a volume up and a volume down button. On the front you've got this button here, which is used to turn it on and off, and also to pair it, and it also plays and pauses your music. And then on the other side, on the other earbud, you've got not a lot going on at all, no buttons or anything, but you've got this flap here which is quite fiddly, but it's where you put your micro USB charger. You just plug it in just like that. So I've been using these for a couple of days now, and I just thought I'd tell you what I think of these as a kind of average user. I paid about £15 for these off Amazon. They're sort of RRP at 30 quid, but 15 quid seems to be the going rate. I quite like the design. It doesn't stick out from your ear a little bit too much. As you can see at the moment, they kind of fit into your ears quite easily. You just kind of have to twist them and get them in, and it's a little bit tricky to get used to start with, but once you've got the hang of it, they do sit in your ears nice and snugly and they don't move around at all. I've used these for listening to music around the house, but also at the gym, on the treadmill, and doing some weights and the cross trainer. And so I think I've given them a pretty good go in terms of what people would use them for on a day-to-day basis. The battery life on these is about 5 hours for about kind of 1 or 2 hours charge, which isn't too bad really. It seems to be the going rate for most of these kind of headsets. The sound quality on these I think is what really makes them worthwhile, and why on things like Amazon they've got 4 out of 5 stars. The sound loudness is plenty loud enough. I didn't have it on full volume at all, whereas I normally do with my just standard iPhone headphones. I also found with these that the notes kind of sounded really good, so it picked up a lot of bass, as in-ears tend to do, but it also picked up a wide range of sounds, and I thought the quality was really good. I listened to lots of kind of rock and metal, but also pop, and it didn't really seem to matter what I threw through these. It sounded pretty good in general. Now the only problem I really had with these was when I was on the treadmill and kind of on the cross trainer, when I experienced something called the stethoscope effect, which I had to go away and look up. And basically what it is when you kind of run in and you're kind of thudding, cables on things like this, when they're not kind of attached to anything in particular, can pick up those thuds. And so what it's kind of like is like having a kind of phaser on your guitar. So you get a kind of in and out kind of sound, or a bit like a breeze is blowing past, and it's a little bit disorientating, especially on the treadmill, and it makes your music sound a little bit odd. And so I didn't really like running with these. I didn't think they were particularly great for it. I did find if you can kind of clip this wire to, say, the back of your t-shirt, and if these kind of ear wings aren't wedged in quite as hard, that helped a little bit, but you still get that kind of stethoscope effect. And so I don't think they're particularly great for runners, but in terms of when around the house, listen to music on journeys, kind of lifting weights, they're pretty good. They're light, you don't really notice them. They're relatively comfortable for a short period of time. I had them in for about an hour at one point, and they didn't really begin to hurt, although you kind of notice when you take it out, but that's the same with any kind of in-ears. If you use them a lot, you get used to them. And so really that's my thoughts on the MPow things. I think for £15 they're really good value. They sound really good. The only thing is just they're probably not great for running. Although if you can put up with that kind of effect, or maybe your kind of type of music doesn't cause that to happen, then go for it. So definitely I think a 4 out of 5 for kind of value for money and sound quality, and just as wearing them around the house every day, they're great, and the range is pretty good as well. I got halfway down my garden before it cut out from a phone being indoors. And so yeah, they're pretty neat. Pick up a pair if you want. They're just 15 quid, ideal for travelling around. This isn't a sponsored video or anything. This is me buying them for my own use and wanting just to bring you guys a review, as is everything else on this channel. If you've enjoyed this video, do like and subscribe. Comment if you've got other recommendations of kind of Bluetooth headsets. If you can recommend any kind of just Bluetooth earpieces rather than in-ears, then do let me know, because I'd really like to pick up a pair of just earpieces rather than in-ears, just because that's what I tend to prefer. But there you go, it's a review of the MPow Swift Bluetooth earpieces.